My name is Alex Carter, and this is the story of how my curiosity almost cost me my life. It began with a rumor, a haunting tale passed around by adventurers and sailors alike. They called it the Ocean Queen, once a floating palace of luxury, now a derelict hulk adrift in the Atlantic. Its legend was soaked in tragedy, passengers vanishing without a trace, crew members descending into madness, and finally the entire ship abandoned to the sea. For years, the ship had been little more than a ghost story, but I wanted to see it for myself. After weeks of poring over maritime records, blurry photographs, and whispered clues on obscure forums, I finally pinpointed its location. The journey to reach it was grueling. Battling through choppy waters on a chartered boat, I felt the weight of my decision. The sea seemed alive that day, angry and unwelcoming, as though warning me to turn back. But then, through the mist, it appeared, a massive silhouette against the horizon. The Ocean Queen loomed like a ghostly monolith, its once grand exterior now marred by rust and decay. Climbing aboard, I felt an immediate sense of dread. The deck groaned beneath my feet, and the air was thick with the stench of salt, mildew, and something else. Something metallic like blood. The ship seemed to hum faintly, as if it were breathing. The Grand Foyer was my first stop. It must have been magnificent in its prime. Spiraling staircases, golden railings, and an enormous chandelier that clung stubbornly to the ceiling. Now, it was cloaked in dust and shadow. My flashlight illuminated smudged handprints on the walls as if someone had clawed at them in desperation. I pressed deeper into the ship. The dining hall was a scene of grotesque abandonment. Plates and silverware were still on the tables, as though the passengers had left mid-meal. The food, or what remained, was overgrown with mold and crawling with maggots. And then, I heard it. A faint clinking sound like utensils tapping together. My flashlight darted across the room, but there was nothing. Just silence. I told myself it was the ship settling, though my racing heart begged to differ. Next, I entered the grand ballroom. The chandeliers here were shattered, their crystals scattered like fallen stars. The dance floor was eerily pristine, almost as if it had been recently polished. Then I saw her, a figure in the corner, barely visible in the dim light. She wore an old-fashioned evening gown, her back turned to me. "Hello?" I called out, my voice trembling. She didn't move. When I took a step closer, she dissolved into the shadows. By now, every instinct screamed at me to leave, but my curiosity was stronger. I continued down a corridor lined with cabins. Most were locked or filled with decayed furniture, but one door was slightly ajar. Inside, I found a child's room. A teddy bear sat upright on the bed, its button eyes staring at me. The air was icy cold, far colder than the rest of the ship. As I turned to leave, I heard a giggle, soft, high-pitched, and unmistakably close. My blood ran cold. The galley was my next destination. Surprisingly intact, pots and pans hung neatly and shelves were stocked with rotting provisions. But there was something else, a trail of wet footprints leading from the freezer. They were small, like a child's, and ended abruptly in the middle of the room. The freezer door creaked open as I approached, and inside, etched into the frost-covered walls, were the words, "Help me." My final destination was the bridge. The captain's quarters were in shambles, but I found a logbook on the desk. The entries began routinely but became increasingly erratic. The captain wrote of strange sounds, passengers falling ill, and sightings of a woman in an evening gown. The final entry sent chills down my spine. "She won't let us leave. She's always watching." As I stood there, the ship groaned loudly as if coming to life. The lights flickered and I felt a presence behind me. Turning around, I saw her again, the woman in the gown, now closer. Her eyes were hollow voids and her mouth twisted into a chilling smile. I stumbled backward and bolted for the exit, not daring to look back. Reaching the deck, I could hear whispers, dozens of them, surrounding me. The ship itself seemed to pulsate with malevolence. I jumped back onto my boat and sped away, the Ocean Queen fading into the mist. Even now, I can't shake the feeling that something followed me. The Ocean Queen may be abandoned, but it's far from empty, and its story is far from over. So tell me, Would you dare step aboard? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.